We know what we got to do. We know where we got to go, okay? It's time to get to the Republican National Convention that took place over the last 4 days, and specifically last night, where the former President Donald Trump spoke, because that's who culminated last night's event in Milwaukee, with him accepting the Republican nomination for the presidency of the United States in front of a raucous crowd. The fourth and final night featured appearances from the one and only Hulk Hogan, Kid Rock, UFC President Dana White, who did a great job, by the way, Tucker Carlson, and Trump's son Eric, among others. By the way, Hulk Hogan did a great job too, okay? In the eyes of many, Trump defied the reporting we heard that indicated he would take a different tone than in the past and focus on unifying the nation in his keynote address. After recounting the harrowing tale of his attempted assassination just last weekend, which, by the way, he is selling sneakers to commemorate. I'd be remiss in neglecting to point that out. It didn't take long for Trump to get back to his old divisive ways. You don't believe me? Take a look.
Eric, what was that all about? Boy, that was good. But he was so great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. They went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. The whole world was at peace, and now the world is blowing up around us. All of these things that you read about were not going to happen. We have a great military. Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke. Our opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war.
Good Lord. In addition to turning heads with his rhetoric, Trump once again had fact checkers hard at work deciphering whether the claims he made were fact or fiction. According to CNN fact checkers, Trump made more than 20 claims in his speech that were either misleading or flat out false. I can't read some of the stuff that you see on the screen from this distance, but my goodness, world was at peace until he left office, really. World was at peace during the Trump presidency. That's what he said. Venezuela's crime rate was down 72%. Apparently that was false. Immigrants coming from prisons and mental institutions. We all know that's excessive, that's false. Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she echoed those words out of her mouth a few days earlier, we knew that was false. Dramatic increase in crime rate in the United States, that appears to be a false statement. Largest tax cuts in U.S. history. Biden won't even talk about them. American hostages in Gaza, et cetera, et cetera. 2020 election was rigged and stolen. Of course, we know that. We don't have time to get into all of that. Here's what really needs to be said about this, okay? First of all, I mean no disrespect. I want to reiterate the point that I'm happy the former president is alive, that he wasn't assassinated by that shooter, Mr. Crooks, who's now deceased. I'm happy that, you know, he moved a milliliter away and ultimately was able to avoid a fatal blow to his head. I'm very happy that the former president is still alive. We don't wish death on anybody. We don't wish violence upon anybody. We don't wish assassinations upon anybody. No, we're not doing that. We shouldn't be doing that anyway, and we damn sure ain't gonna do that on this show. Having said that, and being highly sensitive to the climate that we're living in, I'm gonna make this argument no matter how incendiary somebody may absorb it. Former President Trump on Thursday night showed once again he ain't the brightest candle on the birthday cake. Somebody gotta say it, so I'm gonna say it. You got the world in the palm of your hands. You've just been shot. You survived. You went to the ground. You got jumped on by Secret Service. You get up, blood's trickling down your ear and your face, the right side of your face. You wave your fist up 3 times, imploring folks to fight, and you got the American flag behind you. As I articulated at that particular moment in time on Monday, you can't get a better photo than that if you're a politician. It doesn't get any better than that. Leading up to an election, 4 months away from an election for the presidency of the United States, and you just had that photo available to you. I mean, it doesn't get any better. And then the Republican National Convention starts in Milwaukee Monday. Let me tell you, as somebody that's been in television close to 3 decades now, that was exceptionally well produced. They did a great job Monday. They did a great job Tuesday. They did a great job Wednesday. They did a great job Thursday, right up until the moment Trump stepped on stage. I mean, think about it. Make America wealthy again. Make America safe again. Make America strong again. Make America great once again. 4 days, you had a theme. And as corny as critics were trying to say that it was, ladies and gentlemen, it was working like crazy in a very good way. Everybody showed up and did their part. You can disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, because I'll be damned, I don't know too many people outside of Georgia that agree with a damn thing she says. But she played her role. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, he played his role. Ted Cruz, he played his role. Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, he played his role. Ted Cruz from Texas. You see a whole bunch of people contributing to the narratives and the themes at the Republican National Convention. It was pure perfection. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former press secretary of the White House, now the governor of Arkansas. She was sensational. She did a hell of a job. You had Van Jones on CNN talking about how great she did. All of this stuff is going on. Amber Rose showed up. Everybody was raving about her. And then Trump showed up. And for the first 10 to 15 minutes, particularly as he detailed and chronicled the shooting, his near assassination, having everybody riveted and transfixed on his every word, right after that, the man goes off script. Having the world in the palm of your hand, vowing that he was going to talk about unity and bringing the country together, especially with the intro that came from Dana White, and before him, Eric Trump, and before him, Hulk Hogan. Hey, brother. Hey, brother. Remember that? Everybody was good. Everybody was good to go. And Trump went out there and messed it up. All he had to do was say, when he said, "I'm not supposed to be here," and they started chanting, "Yes, you are, yes, you are," do you know that had the potential to replace "Yes, we can," that Obama was doing in 2008 and 2012, and then again in 2016 when he spoke at the Democratic National Convention and he was maligning Trump, and he was sitting up there. He said, "This ain't about yes, he will. It's about yes, we can." And last night, if Trump had stopped there, he'd have had a chance to have at least half of the country going like, "Yes, you are, when he said he wasn't supposed to be here. And they said, "Yes, you are." But he kept talking, and he kept going off script. And the more he did that, the more that dissipated the level of empathy and sympathy and anything else that comes with it when it comes to him. He brought everybody back to politics. That's what he did. When you were focused on him and the fact that he was alive, and you saw his children and his grandchildren and people supporting him and showering love upon him and literally having complete dominion and dominance over the Republican Party, he also had a bunch of independents and others out there a bit reluctant and apprehensive, dare I say, about going after him from a political standpoint, because he was, dare I say, a martyr and a sympathetic figure. Until he started talking about crazy Nancy Pelosi, that's what he called her, started insulting Biden. And then you said, there he is, same old, same old. He's still favored to win the election. He probably will. I am in no way implying that this is going to definitively cost him the election, because as long as Joe Biden stays in, I don't think it will. What I'm saying, however, is he had him All he had to do was live true to his word about ripping up his original speech, rewriting the whole thing, and focusing on unifying the country, as opposed to galvanizing his base. It was a moment that belonged to him, perfectly set up by the RNC, the organizers, the producers, etc., and all the contributors, every single person, from day 1 to day 4, did their job, and Trump messed it up and got us back to policy instead of focusing on the potential victim that he may have been. Sometimes your ego camouflages everything else, and that's what he did.